Am I the a-hole for not tipping after overhearing what my waitress said about me? I 30th went out to dinner last night with my mom for a very important occasion. My boyfriend's mother was meeting my mom for the first time, and we were all really excited for the night. I'm a punctual person, and so is my mom, so we arrived about 30 minutes early for our reservation. We were seated without any issues since the restaurant was fairly empty, but that's when things started going downhill. We sat for what felt like forever before a waitress finally came over. It took her at least 20 minutes to even approach our table, even though there were hardly any other customers. Right away, I got the feeling that she didn't want to serve us. She didn't greet us with a smile or even say hello. She just asked what we wanted to drink in the most dismissive tone. When we gave her our orders, she didn't even bother to write them down. That gave me a bad feeling, but I brushed it off. 15 more minutes went by before we got our drinks, and they were completely wrong. My mom had ordered a ginger ale, but instead, she got a Pepsi. I had asked for a vodka soda, and it was also wrong. Now, I know drinks can get mixed up, but it's hard to mess up something as simple as those. My mom kindly pointed out that she didn't order a Pepsi, and instead of apologizing, the waitress rolled her eyes, grabbed the glass, and just walked away without a word. At that point, I excused myself to use the restroom, but since I wasn't familiar with the layout of the restaurant, I headed toward the entrance to ask one of the hostesses for directions. As I approached the server station, I overheard a conversation that stopped me in my tracks. The waitress, who had been serving us, was complaining to two of the hostesses. She was upset that she had to wait on a black table, and she said they never tip well. She wasn't even whispering, and it was obvious who she was referring to, my mom and me. We were the only black people in the restaurant. I was furious, but also not shocked. Her terrible service now made sense. However, I didn't let on that I'd hurt her. Instead, I just asked for directions to the bathroom, thanked them, and walked away like nothing had happened. When I came back to our table, my boyfriend and his mom had arrived. My boyfriend and his mom are white, and as soon as the waitress saw them, her entire attitude changed. Suddenly, she was a different person. Not a single mistake for the rest of the night. It was like night and day compared to how she treated my mom and me when we were alone. The dinner went well, and since it was a special night, I decided I would treat everyone and pay the bill. When the waitress brought over the payment machine, I smiled at her as I punched in 0% for the tip. She didn't notice right away, but after the receipt printed, and we were all getting up to leave, she caught up to me and tapped me on the shoulder. She asked if I had accidentally forgotten to add a tip, so I glanced at the receipt and said, no, I didn't think I had made a mistake. She looked confused and asked if there was a problem with her service. That's when I told her, your service was great, but since I'm a black woman, I guess I don't tip well, right? Her face turned completely pale, and she let out this awkward, nervous laugh. I just smiled, laughed a little too, and walked out without saying anything more. As we left, my boyfriend's mom asked what had happened, so I told her what I'd overheard earlier. She wasn't happy with my decision not to tip and told me that I should have left something, no matter what, because it shows character. She seemed really upset with me after that. My boyfriend, however, is on my side, and my mom completely agrees with what I did. Still, I can't help but wonder, should I have just left a $2 tip or something small to avoid the drama, or was I right to stand my ground and not reward her for being discriminatory? Am I the a-hole?